Fibromyalgia is one. Fibromyalgia is it's basically a diagnosis of exclusion. I mean, you've exhausted all of the other possibilities that it could be, and the doctor just basically put his hands up and like, I have no idea why you're in pain, but I believe you're in pain, so we're going to call it fibromyalgia. That's basically what fibromyalgia is. We don't really know what it is. We don't really know what causes it. We don't really know why some people experience it and others don't.
And what is it?
It's just a pain syndrome. It's just you just hurt. You're just in chronic pain, and so these unfortunate people end up being on with chronic pain specialists. So they're just taking heavy medication sometimes for years. It's not a specific injury that they've had, like they were in an accident and they broke their back and they're just in horrible pain from that for the rest of their life. This is, we don't know what caused this, but this person is clearly in a lot of pain. And so they call it fibromyalgia. And I'm sure there are people that have, different doctors that have theories as to what exactly is going on. But traditionally it's taught that this is a diagnosis of exclusion, that we don't know what it is, but something's happening and someone's in pain and we don't have any clear reason as to why they're in pain. However, I've been getting copious amounts of messages from people, saying that, they don't have joint pain, they don't have soreness. Obviously they're autoimmune issues, which is an inappropriate pathological inflammatory response, that these just melt away. They just go away.
On carnivore.
I've yet to see any autoimmune disease that does not just melt away within, say 3 to 6 months on a pure carnivore diet, just pure meat and water, especially red meat and water. Yeah. So this is significantly altering the inflammatory processes in your body.
Dude, I saw a great post. You might have seen it as well. Mikhaila Peterson put up, I think she put it up yesterday. And it was like a short snippet of her talking to the camera. And she said the one thing that she hopes sort of, in her lifetime that she sees is that people with autoimmune issues and diseases like she had are initially treated with nutrition and diet, particularly children.
I've yet to see an autoimmune disease that does not respond extremely well to a meat and water only diet. Certainly Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, that's just, just undoubtable. Also rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, even Graves. And, I've yet to see one that doesn't work. And I, talk to people, she's like, well, I have this very, very rare, very unique autoimmune disease. Do you know anything about it? I'm like, well, I don't, I haven't seen anything with that, but this is how autoimmune issues tend to respond in general. And either way, you're going to help your health, dramatically in every other aspect. There are other things that cause problems or other things that cause disease. It's not just the food we eat, but that's a major burden of disease is from the food that we eat. And so, it's worth a try. You're going to get a lot healthier anyway. And, and it could very well be exactly what's going to address your autoimmune issues, like so many other autoimmune issues. And so I get people telling me this constantly, that, they're getting biopsies of their colon after a few months, and they have no trace of Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. They have no trace of their disease left. The rheumatoid arthritis, they've come off all their medications. They don't have any flare-ups anymore. They've lost 80 to 100 pounds or more. Fibromyalgia patients, that's one that was very interesting, because I've had a number of people say that they've had fibromyalgia for 20 years, and all of a sudden they go on carnivore for 4 months and it's gone. Yeah, well, I mean, there's obviously a lot of things that can trigger migraines, and a lot of them are food related, food, drink, alcohol related. So what does that mean? That means that there are things in there, there are factors in there that are causing some sort of process to precipitate a migraine or some sort of pain response. Okay, so there are triggers that we know of, big clear ones. Avoid these things, but that doesn't mean that's all of them. And those are just the ones that we've strongly identified. But when you just go into a ketogenic diet, you're eliminating a lot of these things as well. Yeah. Most of this stuff goes away. So what does that mean? You're eliminating out these little factors. Now you're eliminating out all carbohydrates, grains, seeds, sugars, alcohol, and you're getting even better. Okay, so there's a lot of things that can precipitate a migraine. So doing the diet from an elimination standpoint, just eliminating out more and more things that could potentially cause harm, and get down to the root, which is just meat, you're going to have a better time, because you have definitely eliminated out anything that's going to precipitate a migraine from a food standpoint. Obviously, you have other things that trigger these problems, but from a food standpoint, now you've eliminated these things. Now maybe you try certain things back in. You go, oh no, can't do that. That gives me a big problem. If you want to add things back in, I don't care to do that. I don't get migraines. I didn't have very poor health before all this. I just like feeling my best. I just like always feeling my best and always being, performing at my best. And that's how I prefer to live. And so, eating different things, I've never really cared to add anything back in. There's nothing that I've liked the taste of better than my health and how I feel. So, but if people want to do that, they can, and just be mindful of that. If you're doing this from an elimination approach, like with autoimmune or with migraines or whatever you have, MS, that's another one that is significantly helped by a carnivore diet. Multiple sclerosis, which is a nasty disease. When you eliminate these things out, if you're eliminating these things out, and you're like, okay, now I feel good, and I'm just on meat, like Mikhaila Peterson did, and then she's just said, oh, well, this is stupid. I clearly I can eat salads. Salads are good for you. She ate one salad, she bang, had a big rheumatoid arthritis flare up. So now she knows she can't do that. And every time she tries something back in, she flares up. And so she's like, yeah, I can't do this, even if I want to, which just sounds like, maybe she does. And Jordan Peterson, probably does, but, they valued their health more than they value the visceral experience of eating these foods. And I certainly am in that same camp. And I don't even have as big of a response to these things as they would. You can certainly have damage, and you can mistreat your joints, and that can cause inappropriate wear and tear, and eventually arthritis, or you can have injuries that damage the cartilage as well. You can do what I did, which is Muay Thai kickboxing, and you're just doing knee strikes on hard objects, and that just sort of bangs these things, clatters them together when they're not supposed to do that, and you get these little micro cracks, and those micro cracks all of a sudden are a point of friction now, and they just sort of wear and wear and wear and wear, and they wear out. However, we didn't really see those skeletons prior to the agricultural revolution. Any full-grown adult, they had big jaws, straight teeth, no cavities, very healthy bones, on average 6'4" for adult males. And they didn't really have arthritis. We could tell. I mean, sometimes it's not a good enough specimen to be able to tell, but by and large, we could tell this. So